And like Nancy, find out how much you can save by switching from AT&T to MCI.
My wife and I are talking about having kids. And my wife says to me, why is it the woman who always has to stay at home? Why not the man? And I said to her, if you can find a job that pays for the house, pays for the car, and pays for the food, I'll quit my job and work out of the house.
Staples has everything you need to start yourself over again. The guaranteed low price on computers, furniture, pencils, and over 5,000 other items. Staples. Yeah, we've got that.
Meet Bob Jackson. He has the unique ability to rake leaves at over 120 miles per hour. Fortunately for the rest of us, so do steel blowers. Now available in steel territory, starting at $69.95.
These guys got to start brushing their teeth.
Back at the draft, the Rams with the number 5 overall pick here in the first round have less than 4 minutes to make their selection. Real palace riot here. Some strong opinion for Dilfer, some strong opinion for 1 or 2 other players. We'll see who wins out. The Colts and Marshall Faulk, the second round selection, the second pick overall. Faulk is with our Craig James, and one running back to another. I think Marshall is ready to go for a team that was dead last the last few years in rushing. Craig?
And you know what, Chris? We've got an investigator here with us as well. Marshall, I understand you've talked to Eric Dickerson a little bit about the Colts. What do you have to say about them?
We had some conversation, and Eric told me it was a great place to play. He loved the fans, and that besides some line breakdown, it went great.
As you look at the Colts, a team that finished last in rushing 3 straight years, how's that challenge look to you?
It's very challenging, and I've been faced with a lot of challenges in my life, and this is one that I feel that will be a great one.
What has the Colts been saying to you?
They just told me that they were going to feature me in a Thurman Thomas type thing, and we're going to work well together.
There are a lot of scouts and personnel people around the NFL that said that you didn't have the body to hang in there and endure the pounding. What do you feel?
I feel like I've endured a lot of pounding in college and kept going after some injuries, and I feel like I'm ready.
How about playing on AstroTurf week in and week out?
Playing on AstroTurf, I feel, it harms the body a little bit, but with some weightlifting and some off-season program, you know, it could work to our benefit.
Is this a real relief for you to finally be away from the Heisman Trophy talk and in the NFL?
Yeah, it's kind of a relief to get away from the Heisman hype, the college hoopla, and get in there and mix it up with the big boys.
Good decision for you to come out early?
A great one. I'm still happy with it, and, you know, it's just something that I got to live with.
All right. Hey, good luck to you, and we look forward to watching you in your NFL career, and we'll go back now to the Boomer.
All right, Craig and Marshall, it'll be exciting to see him run for the Colts, like we said, except for that 1 year that Dickerson had when the Colts made the playoffs with Ron Meyer. The Colts really have not had a running attack for a long, long time, since the Burt Jones years, or some could argue Alan Amici. Less than 2 minutes for the Rams. Let's go back to Tom Jackson up in New England, and Bill Parcells. Tom has certainly gotten his man. Tommy?
As Chris said, you got your man in the draft. We saw you on the phone. How close did you come to letting that 4th choice go?
Well, really not very close, Tom. It wasn't, it was a conversation with actually 2 teams, but one team very strongly that wasn't situated immediately behind us, but they were trying to relocate from somewhere in the draft up into the top 7 or 8. In no case would we have ever considered a moving past the 8th position. So unless someone could have gotten up in there and made us a deal where we felt like we could get a defensive pressure player, then we weren't making the trade. So, you know, we think we got a defensive pressure player.
What is it that's most attractive to you about Willie McGinnis? Everybody said you were sold on him early.
Well, you know, he's a lot taller than you were when you were playing outside linebacker, and he runs a lot faster.
Thanks, Coach. Let's go back to New York.
Tommy thought he'd get out of the firing line by being away from us and going up with his friend Bill Parcells. Not the case. The Rams have 35 seconds left on the clock, and we shall see. We said they would go down to the wire, and they are. I mean, even with Chris Miller there, you think they should go quarterback, Joe?
I think it's a deal. I think they have to go. I really do. I think they should go Trent Dilfer. I don't think there's any question. The quarterback's going to help him. I'm not 100% convinced that Chris Miller's going to be able to last a season. He hasn't in the last couple of years.
Well, they have T.J. Rubley Tuesday, who did okay backing up Everett last year. But that would be their backup at this point. Let's go to the podium. Here's the Rams pick.
Rams have made a trade with Indianapolis, and as a result of the trade, which I'll outline in a minute, Indianapolis has selected Trev Alberts, linebacker from Nebraska. The trade involves the Rams trading their first-round pick in this draft, the one that was just on the clock, to Indianapolis, in return for Indianapolis's first-round pick and third-round pick in this draft, the 7th and 83rd selections overall. Tampa Bay is now on the clock.
Well, we said that the number 4 slot might hold the key to this draft, and that's where the surprises would come. We were just off by 1. The Rams pick, not only the fact that it went to Indy is not a surprise, but when the name Dilfer didn't come up and Trev Alberts, a just marvelous linebacker from Nebraska, that, of course, raised eyebrows, especially in Indianapolis, where Chris Mortensen is there. Surprise folks there, Mort?
I think so. I really think people thought Indianapolis would sit tight at number 7 and take Bryant Young, the defensive tackle from Notre Dame. But you know what? Bill Tobin is running the football operation now with the Colts. His brother Vince is the defensive coordinator with Indianapolis now, and they're trying to bolster that defense. What's surprising about this is they've signed Tony Bennett as a free agent. They've got Quentin Coriat moved to the outside. So maybe I'm thinking they're thinking about going to a 3-4 defense. We'll talk to Bill Tobin a little bit later. But I think here with the Rams, I don't think Chuck Knox wanted a young quarterback. Chuck Knox knows he's in his last year or two with the Rams. It takes a while to develop a quarterback. And I think Knox decided to trade out of there.
All right, so the Indianapolis Colts, when you have as many picks as they do, they can do some maneuvering. And Mel, do you think they have maneuvered well? I mean, Albert's a great player. Yeah, there's no question about that. But you got a problem with this move?
I think it's a typical Colt move. I mean, here's a team that needed a franchise quarterback. There were 2 out there. They have a chance at 2. They don't take it. They end up coming back into the picture to get Trent Dilfer. They take an outside linebacker, not even a true outside linebacker. Somebody has to learn coverage in Trev Alberts. They have Coriat. They have Harrod. They do have a hole that developed with the release of Dwayne Bickett. But to pass up a Trent Dilfer when all you have is Jim Harbaugh, give me a break. That's why the Colts are picking 2nd every year in the draft, not battling for the Super Bowl like other clubs in the National Football League.
Well, this is one time I got to agree with Mel. I just do not understand the pick. It doesn't make sense to me. Trev Albert really is not an outside linebacker. He's really played the position of a down lineman. You can't take somebody who's rushed the passer for a year or however long he has and try and put him out in space and do recognition of where the ball is going, what the block's going to look like, who's coming out of the backfield. I don't understand the pick. I think there were better opportunities for the Indianapolis Colts right at this particular spot. I do think that the possibility exists, though, that this could be a decision made based on economics. What you have to do to sign 2 number 1s. Trev Albert may come a bit cheaper than somebody else that they might have had to have gotten, which maybe would have been a quarterback. So did economics play in this particular deal and this choice? I happen to think that that might really be the case here for Indianapolis.
So that leaves Tampa Bay on the clock, and if they want to go quarterback to Trent Dilfer from Fresno State, they certainly can. Trent is with Craig James right now. What's he thinking, Craig?
I don't know what he's thinking. Was Santa Claus waiting on him ever this exciting?
I don't know, man. This is amazing, huh? I knew it'd be exciting, but not this exciting.
Have you had a lot of conversations with Sam Weiss or the Bucs?
Yeah, I've talked to him a few times. I think they have a definite interest. I'm not going to say I guarantee they're going to take me next, but with what's happened so far, I'm not going to predict anything.
So you are surprised?
Oh, very surprised. Yeah, we thought for sure it would be either Indianapolis, Washington, or L.A. And if something didn't happen in L.A. at 5, somebody moved to 4. But hey, I mean, shows how much we know and how much everybody else knows.
How would you like to be with Weiss? He's a quarterback.
Oh, it'd be great. Oh, I would just be thrilled. And I mean, that's all I can say. It'd be a great fit, and my wife and I'd be ready to move off to Tampa and start our life there.
All right, go look for Santa Claus backstage.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you, Chris.
All right, Craig and Trent. So Tampa Bay is on the clock, and some folks who know their quarterbacks say that Trent Dilfer is the most prepared quarterback coming out of college to go in the NFL they have seen. We'll see if Tampa agrees when we return.
This comfortable with all your decisions. Acura. Some things are worth the price.
When you come to a Pep Boys Super Center, you'll be amazed by its size. They've got over 24,000 items, all with brand names you know and trust, many with lifetime warranties. Rebestas, Borg Warner, TRW, Gabriel, Purolator, CR, and Bendix. Everything you need to keep your car looking good and running smoothly. Day or night, even on Sunday, come to Pep Boys and drive away happy.
Just down Sunset and up the incredible California coast is Wolfgang Puck's latest culinary creation, granita. It's a touch of the Mediterranean with a dash of the Pacific. And if you go there, bring your appetite for travel and your Visa card.
It's Faulk.
Because Wolfgang's grilled prawns will take you to the Mediterranean, but granita won't take American Express.
I love to cook, and I love to eat even more.
Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Recently, I had a day where I knew I wouldn't send a single letter, or fax one fax, or even read a memo.
James, this is my son, Kurt.
Introducing wrinkle-free 100% cotton Dockers, because there are times when just getting dressed isn't enough.
I didn't know the day would be so productive.
Can I work here?
Can you work here?
Yeah.
Too short.
Joe. Well, you are hopefully enjoying it at home or wherever you're kicked back, relaxed, and watching our 15th straight coverage of the NFL Draft. This is the scene at Times Square on the big Jumbotron. Outdoors, indoors, in the air, underground. The NFL Draft continues, and we had our first surprise just a moment ago when the Indianapolis Colts moved up to get that trade, get that number 5 overall pick in the trade with the Rams, but they did not take the quarterback Trent Dilfer. The trade itself saw the Colts and Rams swap first-round picks. The Colts also get a third, which now means they have 2 ones, a second, and 3 threes, which means they have 6 of the top 83 picks. So if the Indianapolis Colts want a total overhaul, and frankly, the way they ended their season, they were the worst team in the National Football League down the stretch. An overhaul is not a bad idea. They have exactly the tools with which to do it, except that they picked Trev Alberts with the first pick, who's going to be a marvelous player. But yet we disagree on whether that was exactly the guy to go to. Now, Tampa Bay is waiting. It's 7 minutes to go. And to me, guys, this seems like news because the waters seem to have parted for Tampa Bay. You figured the only way they could assure Dilfer was to make a trade to, at best, New England, at worst, the Rams. And here they are at 6, and it's opened up. Are they considering anything else, Joe?
Well, Boomer, I don't really think they were in a position to want to consider anything else. This whole thing, whatever Sam Weiss did last night, whoever he prayed to, whatever he asked for, he got it granted. He'll take Dilfer here. I don't think there's any question about that because that's really the quality of the individual, the quality of the position. It's amazing to me that the Indianapolis Colts went out of the spot not to take Dilfer. You know, Trev Albert's a good football player, but I really think what you saw in Indianapolis, you saw Bill Tobin making a statement about the way he wants to build the Indianapolis Colts. This is his football team now. He's going to do it his way. Sam Weiss, the thing is, I don't think he was really prepared for what happened. He just felt like the kid's not going to be there. Now, all of a sudden, everybody wants to try and deal with him. Now, the whole thing got confusing.
Here's what happens right now with the Bucs with just over 6 minutes to pick. Anyone else, and we really haven't targeted another team except for the Colts, and they picked, that would need one of these quarterbacks. Not to say that many of them wouldn't, because Dilfer's obviously a heck of a player. But any other team that would want one has now called Tampa Bay on the phone. I know that other teams farther down the line, like a San Francisco, who have 2 first-round picks. I'm just going with the guys that have 2 first-round picks, like a Minnesota, who wouldn't need Dilfer, but might want to go up and go to a guy specifically, could be making deals with Tampa Bay or attempt to. And I guess the Bucs might as well use their 15 minutes. After all, they bought it. Let's go to Indianapolis with Chris Mortensen and more.